behave. The success of the team comes before the success of the individual. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. There is no I in team. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Experience is the name to be given to mistakes. Sometimes you gotta break the rules according to the situation. When the body says stop, the spirit cries never. Some people see through the eyes of the old before they ever get a look at the young. Blessed is he who expects nothing, for he'll never be disappointed. People unite under a common goal. How better to start a speech than with an entourage of powerful cliches and song quotes? But there is a method to my madness, and I do have reason for choosing these specific quotes. That is, they're all things that I was taught or reminded of on the Wilderness Wise final exam trip. Hi, I'm Brett Ferreira, the 1994 Wilderness Wise class president. I would like to welcome all of you to the Parents Night presentation. Tonight we'll take a look back at all that we've accomplished this year. We'll give next year's class a sneak peek at what's in store for them. And we'll show the parents what happened to your children and your money for that long week in May. However, before the show starts, I'd like to take some time to pay tribute to the driving force behind the course itself, Mr. Jim Marshall. Anyone who knows him just calls him Marsh. On behalf of the class, I'd like to dedicate this night to Marsh because it is Marsh's night. This is his moment in the spotlight, because after people get a chance to see all the things he inspired students to do, they can clearly see that his efforts deserve to be commended. Let me tell you a story about Marsh. It was Saturday, May 28th. We had spent the whole day climbing up and down the 3,500-foot Mount Kempshall. We began to make our way back down the lake towards the campsite in empty canoes. The waves were close to 2 feet high, and they weren't at our back. Needless to say, it was very hard canoeing. Marsh was behind the pack, making sure everybody stayed on course and even screaming instructions to those in trouble. When we drifted into where we had momentarily stopped, he looked into every exhausted eye and he said, "If I didn't have faith in you guys, and I didn't believe you were capable of doing this, I'd have us get out of the water right here and wait for this whole thing to pass. But I know you can do this." We did it. It wasn't easy and it wasn't dry, but we did it. When we got back to the campsite, Joe and I were peeling off wet clothes right outside our tent. I turned to Joe and I said, "You know, Thielman, despite the occasional lame joke and the short attention span, Marsh really kicks ass." And Joe said, "Yeah, it didn't take me long this week to figure that out." You see, you'd be surprised what people are capable of doing when they have someone that believes in them. A lot of people have so much potential, but they never take that first step because there's no one there telling them that they can. I'll tell you something, by the end of the week, if Marsh told me I could fly, I'd probably break every bone in my body before I stopped jumping out of trees giving it a try. That's the effect that an energetic, outgoing guy like Marsh can have on people. You see, energy's the key. Have you guys ever seen anyone with more energy than Marsh? One day this year I heard it was his birthday, so I went up to him and asked him how old he was. He told me and I couldn't believe it. I just kept asking myself, how can a 38-year-old man have so much energy? But seriously, Marsh is the reason we're all here tonight. Wilderness Wise is his brainchild. He's taken it so far. I can only hope that it continues to be as successful as it was this year. I would ask that you join me in thanking Marsh for his strong commitment to the class and for him pushing us to be our best. This year, Marsh got a little scared. Because of overcrowding or budget cuts or whatever, the future of Wilderness Wise was in question. The plan was to cut out Wilderness Wise to make class space and time for other science courses. This left me real puzzled. I didn't understand the reasoning behind it. You see, ever since I started looking at colleges and visiting campuses, I've heard the same things from deans and professors. They say, we don't want people who can just memorize formulas and dates. We want people with good social skills who can adapt to a changing job market. Well, I'll tell you right now, setting up a 29-person community in the Forever Wild for 5 days, moving it every day and doing it successfully, teaches a lot more social skills and adaptability than reading the periodic table. Luckily, they did find a way to fit a downsized class in next year. However, I think that a course like this should be the one of the first that you set aside room for. Because you see, I took earth science and I learned about how mountains were formed, but I never got to climb one. I took chemistry and learned about ionic and covalent bonding, but never about bonding with people. I took biology and I learned about endangered species, but I never got to actually see one. And after taking physics, I could reason out that a fallen dead tree trunk wouldn't hold 26 kids. But I never got a chance to test that theory out. And wilderness-wise, I climbed 2 mountains, saw an endangered species from about 20 yards away, and bonded with a lot of people. And if given the chance, I'd do it again 1,000 times. Thank you and enjoy the presentation. To start things off tonight, we're going to take a look at every member of the class and all the chaperones by way of Marshall slideshow. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Graber. Mrs. Hardy. Keith Marshall. Steph Clark. Sean O'Neill. Yours truly. Very confused. Yasmin Kamal. Karen Kazmazek. Oh, sorry. I didn't wait for Missy Hardy. Pat Sagerman and Tights. There's Karen Kazmazek. Michael Buchkowski. Mike James. Melissa Graber. Leah Patterson. Mandy Zarnicki. Rick Smith and Adam Noble. Janelle Randinelli. Nicole Giaramello. Kelly Hunsinger. Joe Thielman. Dave Pryor. Rick Smith. Nicholas.
Green dress, but not a real green dress, that's girl.
Lynn Lehman.
Might buy you some art.
Rebecca Fishout. Brian Hoffman. Jason Clark. Kiki Logan. Jeremiah Strickland. Heather McCone. Scott Martin. Thank you.
The speech that Brett just gave cost me $10,000. He's going to Syracuse University next year, and this $10,000 will go for his first board tuition fees and the rest of it. And I thank you, Brett. That was very, very nice. We are better than we know if we can be made to see it. Perhaps for the best or the rest of our lives, we will be unwilling to settle for less. And this is a philosophy of the Outward Bound School that I really sincerely subscribe to. You see, the key words for teaching students today is involvement. Total involvement. Not simply the passive instruction, but having students engaged fully in a sequence of highly structured events and activities that places the learner in a problem situation that demands them to take action. My idea for Wilderness Wise is to take that very unique curriculum that has been developed by many and make each person the best that they possibly can become. Not competing with one another, but by recognizing that each person has different positive assets and that working through teamwork, cooperative communication, and genuinely caring for each other make each of us in the class a better person. Yes, we try to stretch them to their limits, but they discover in doing so greater capabilities in themselves, and they're much more willing to take the initiative. They take the initiative and become more assertive, and they're more willing to take on personal responsibility. If Wilderness Wise accomplished and completed its goals this year, as each of my young, talented, motivated students head out to seek their fame and fortune outside of their community, after this evening's program and after my course, they have to believe in their hearts and say to themselves whenever an occasion occurs, I can handle it. I really am the master of my own fate. I can figure out solutions to my personal problems. And I'm not alone. And there are people that genuinely care for me. And believe it or not, I am that important, and I do make a difference in this changing world. The unique, or one of the unique traits of this course, is that at the beginning of the year, each and every one of the students have helped revise and develop a 2.5-page old-fashioned code of traditional morals, ethics, and academic behavior. And they agree to live by it for the course of the year. Not just during a class or on a trip, but round the clock. Each and every one of us sitting here this evening know that a changing world with changing environments is the only certainty we can guarantee our young men and women of tomorrow. And we all understand, them included, that adaptation is going to be their key to personal survival and their personal success in the future. We, and Brett said it so well, there is no I in team. We have designed this course to help fit one more puzzle piece to the existing foundation of adaptation mechanisms. And hopefully, this course will fine-tune your skills that each and every one of you will need to meet the ever so quickly changing times. For my students this year, I really wish you enough success to keep you bold and daring, but I wish you enough disappointments along the trail to keep you humble and striving for better. And for my students next year, which I'm looking forward to meeting and working with, this course offers you a chance to break away. Start a new adventure in self-discovery about who you are. Find out about traits and skills and assets you never believed you might have had until you've gotten into the great outdoors. Now, next year, each and every one of you will give in a little bit, but we call that compromising, and I'm hoping that each and every one of you will give out a little bit, but that's the art of sharing. But the one thing I never want to see is giving up. Don't ever give up. You've got a great support group behind you. For the parents out there and adults, I really feel strongly that all these traits that we really want our young youth to have today have the opportunity not just to be taught, but practiced and cultivated in this course. And we all know that when we go outdoors, knowledge isn't enough. You must apply. We all know that willingness is not enough either. You must do. Now, again, the team concept. There are 3 people here this evening and I would like to bring up on stage very quickly before I turn the program back to an elegant group of speakers, my students. First of all, we have had 2 veteran chaperones that have helped refine, given great creative ideas for increasing the effectiveness in this course. Mrs. Nancy Graber has attended and been a chaperone on just about every kind of wilderness experience I have given over the last 3 to 4 years. In addition, I would also like Ms. Stephanie Clark, who is a veteran of 2 years, who has made a significant difference in the outdoor educational adventures that we participated in by being there for my students. Would these 2 individuals at this time just come up and just get a small little thanks from your Wilderness Wise class of 1994 from Minnesota. This year, in Wilderness Wise, there was one person that kept us on the move. Her organizational skills were absolutely incredible. She always stayed one step ahead of us all. Coordination of events, activities, and the reporting of them immediately after completion, and keeping meetings straight was absolutely a talent and a skill that each student in Wilderness Wise can appreciate along with their instructor. I would hope that Miss Melissa Hardy would come up here at this time as the secretary, one of 2, to receive just a small gift from her class and myself for doing such an outstanding job in the duties of her particular role. one individual that I would like to cite. See, you must understand, all of you potentially future wilderness students and all you students with me this year, the behind-the-scenes people that make this class successful and possible are not seen very often, but they make a significant difference. Our Board of Education has been very, very instrumental in encouraging and allowing this course to develop into the course that it is today. More immediate, however, our principal, Mr. Terry Piper. He has been an outstanding supporter of anything I have done, both in biology and in Wilderness Wise. I'm going to miss him greatly. He deserves a special note here tonight because he has encouraged us to take to the air, experiment and try. If you fall down, stand back up and keep going. The success that we all are having right now is directly attributable to a man that stands behind me 100% and has encouraged us to take this course on the flight that it has gone. And I would like to thank him personally. Thank you very, very much for what he has done, and he'll be missed greatly in the future. Now to the program. The slides you're about to see for the remaining evening looks like we have actually had a utopia week in the wilderness. That is anything but true. In fact, in all honesty, God coordinated the events of weather. We had everything. Now the slides don't show that. And not only that, my best friends in the Insecta group decided to converge and have a convention. So we had black flies. I mean, black flies. We didn't just have black flies, we had more black flies and more black flies. Now this relates to a personal incident. This is now on the canoe trip, night one, day one on the canoe trip, and we are at our first camping site in a little lake just beyond Blue Mountain Lake. Now Mike Nicholas there and his partner Melissa Hardy have a hole in their canoe about a ½ inch wide. They're taking on water like crazy. We make land at dusk. The black flies converge on us. Some people dare to brave the elements and stay on land. I turned around and where's my class? They're back in the water till dark. However, Melissa Hardy and Mike had a very big job to do. They had a sinking canoe. They had to repair it. Every time I would check in with Melissa, who was meticulously using, quote, bubble gum, spearmint chewing gum, duct tape, rosins from trees, anything to plug the hole to continue for 4 more days. Every time she looked around, or I looked around, her partner was doing just what you saw there. Running the encampment, swatting black flies, screaming as he went. As they converged on Melissa just as badly, she kept plugging along to get their canoe fixed. So we just thought we would inject into here. One, we had black flies all week. It was great. I loved it. This is Melissa Hardy halfway through the trip. Boy, I'm glad I packed all this stuff. I haven't even wore even half of my clothing yet. It's so heavy and I got a portage yet across the next portage. That night, snow. The next morning, well, Melissa, did you wear all of your clothes? Why do you have Jason's clothes on in addition to yours? We had snow. On the longest portage, which you'll see the trail sign, we had rain. Well, where are you going to put Nikon cameras? You're not going to take pictures. They are sealed in Ziploc storage bags, and they are sealed inside of your backpack where you're praying. Don't make it to the bags, you know? We had torrential rain that came down in sheets for the entire portage, lightning and thunder, and there we stand with aluminum canoes. Yet tonight's program reflects nothing but a utopia of beautiful sunshine. About the song selection of the first. If I had $1 million, You see, I stand before each and every one of you rich, not in dollars and cents at all. I want each of my Seek and Faming Fortune students that are going on and to be very successful to understand success is not always measured in riches or material things. It deals with people. This is a people course. It deals with the relationships you've made, sustained, or made even stronger during our experiences this year. It has nothing to do with dollars and cents. It deals with the environment that you struggle through and enjoy one another in getting through the trials of this particular course. That is a special richness that nobody else here can experience because they haven't been there. Keep that in mind as you go through life, that the dollar sign is not always what we should be striving for. Happiness is not related to dollars necessarily. It's related to your self-fulfillment and contentment. I saw relaxed people in the face of danger. I saw people willing to take up the crusade in the face of not knowing what was next. And I saw a certain ease of decision-making on all of your parts during a week that had a lot of trials and tribulations that you could have gone to pieces in. To me, that's a richness that you cannot replace. It's irreplaceable, and it can only be experienced, and it doesn't cost dollars and cents. Okay? Have a nice night. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program. We got some great speakers here this evening. Thank you, 1994 class. You're some of the best America has to offer.
Hi, I'm Adam and I'm a Wilderness Wise student. Wilderness Wise is something I personally can't sum up in 1 or 2 page essay. I can't tell you what Wilderness Wise is all about, or what constitutes a Wilderness Wise student. I can tell you, however, what the course means to me, and a bit of what I've learned as well. For me, Wilderness Wise wasn't 1 out of 9 other periods a day. It was a very unique experience that I look forward to being a part of every day. It's a shame 26 people can enjoy. It's a shame only 26 people can enjoy this club. Now perhaps you think that spending a whole year in Wilderness Wise might make you an expert camper or a superior outdoorsman. A popular misconception about Wilderness Wise. I personally don't. I believe that Marsh's goals for all of us entail a little more than creating 26 Green Beret mountain men with whistles and Swiss Army knives. Camping in the outdoors are a simple avenue for Marsh to teach the true principles and meaning of the course. It's true that this past year we've all been educated in the outdoors and survival skills. But the purpose of this was to get us through the trip safely, out in the wilderness, where your first mistake might be your last. The wilderness where the true meaning of the course is pulled into perspective. Teamwork. The gift wrap, the bake sales and car washes, adopt a highway. The whole class working as a team. Preparations for the trip, if you ask me. For when you might have to help someone who's down to get over that next obstacle or to hike that last longest mile when camp's still nowhere in sight. Open-mindedness towards others and the expanse of this ever-changing world of ours. Respect for each other, our environment, and all of its inhabitants. Wilderness Wise is about leaving the confines of this school and this community, and at the same time, leaving your troubles behind. No one can hide from their true self in the wilderness. The sound of crickets at night, or the waves hitting the shore, can be amazingly therapeutic. At times, our experiences out there were quite humbling, showing us that we don't always have control of our situation. We don't always know what's around that next corner or through the next pass. This feeling of uncertainty was very exciting for me, perhaps scary for others. However it affects you, these are all feelings each and every one of us needs to experience every so often. The list goes on and on. Wilderness Wise has helped me to achieve better peace of mind. I've learned to have a more relaxed outlook on life and to sometimes just sit back and watch. It might have been a wise man that once said, "Times are changing fast. If you're not careful, they might just pass you by." I've enjoyed everyone and every moment that we've shared together in this club. Maybe we all didn't become brothers and sisters, but we've all grown to have a greater understanding of each other, which is what I think Marsh really wanted. Unity and variety. I'd like to say to Marsh, your goals and expectations for all of us have been accomplished in my mind. I wish everybody the best of luck for the future and consider myself lucky to have been a Wilderness Wise student. Thanks guys, it's been fun to say the least.
In the weeks before the final, my thoughts revolved around, I must do this, I must do that. My homework needed doing or at least obsessing about. I had to think about college. I rarely even allowed myself a break for a breath. I seemed not to be able to stop to enjoy myself. I was still in bustle mode when we arrived at the school at 12:30 a.m. on May 22nd. I was anxious, nervous, excited, and had already realized I'd forgotten something at home. My stomach churned with worry. Then we hit the road. One of the good things and the bad things about a road trip is the way in which one is forced to sit still for prolonged periods of time. It's a time in which one can sit back and relax and let the inevitable take place, or a time in which one worries about the loss of control and ambulatory power. Surprisingly, I sat back and relaxed, realizing I could do absolutely nothing about the course which Marge had already set for us. This set the stage for my changed attitude throughout the trip. While rushing down the river in whitewater rafts, I allowed myself to lean back and enjoy a moment. I enjoyed the vivid green surrounding the river. I enjoyed the splash on my face as we hit the water head on. A feeling of happy contentment filled my being as excitement filled my blood. That was just day one. The feeling implanted in me could not wear off. Every day of the final was trying on my body, on my mind, on my soul. And yet, I was more relaxed on the trail than I think I've ever been. I learned to stop and listen to my canoe partner, to the navigational team, or simply to the splash of my canoe paddle on the water. My listening helped me to enjoy so many of the moments I spent with the rest of the class. I would stay up late, even though I was extremely exhausted, with many of the others, just because the hum of nightfall sounds so beautiful in company, especially good company. Finally, I was divorced from the push and strain of my everyday life. On the final, there was no place for overanalysis, and definitely no place for competition. There was no need for consciousness to extend beyond the immediate. There was no worrying about tomorrow. We had to get through today first. Time lost meaning in the Adirondacks, so much that I lost track after about day 2. The final exam slowed my eternal pace down and taught me to relax. I allowed myself to enjoy each and every moment in one way or another. I stopped obsessing and started being a lot more. Now, several weeks away, I recall seeing here and there. Maybe it's the top of the mountain and the breathtaking view. Perhaps it's Mike James gasping from the cold water in the lake at Paul Smith's College. Maybe it's the devious look on Brian's face as he steered the canoe straight towards Buttermilk Falls. Perhaps it's the shooting star I saw through the trees that last night. As I remember these moments, my muscles begin to relax and become reminiscent of one of the best weeks of my life.
case some of you wonder what that means. I wore this outfit right after we went through a portage through torrential downpours, and they all made fun of me. So. Okay, that's enough. Hi, I'm Mike James. When I first came into Wilderness Wise, I didn't know what to expect. My older sister was in the class a few years earlier and said it was a blast. So I decided to go out for it. At first, I have to admit it was a little strange, because I know I'd be camping and hiking with kids that were my friends, but that I really didn't know that well. It took the first trip, and even some of the second, to get in with the class and become more of a union with each other, working together to figure out how we would start a fire in torrential downpours, or build a lean-to out of wood we had to gather. It was scary at first. Everything worked out, however, on those 2 trips, and that really set the grounds for the final exam, which in my mind was one of the greatest experiences of my life. On the first day of the final, I was dreading the thought of a week in the wilderness. I missed my family and friends. I kind of wished I was with them. I was also worried about my grades and how low they'd fall while I was away. Well, after white water rafting down the Hudson River, flying in a seaplane, and canoeing 35 miles, I realized how worrying gets us nowhere, and how the beauty of nature makes us forget about the bad things. I'm a very religious person. When I was on this final exam, I've never been closer to God than I was. When we reached the St. Regis Mountain summit, I saw God. When we canoed against high winds that blew us back every couple seconds, I saw God. And on the very last day, when our entire class canoed to the launch in the sun and the mist, I saw God. When you're out there, you can just feel His presence in the world of wonder that we call nature. I've become closer to Him and to the people in the class, not just some of them, all of them. We got through it all together, when it was easy, when it was tough, even when it seemed insurmountable. Everyone came together, and that's what this class was about, in my opinion. Getting closer to God, His nature, and the wonderful people He put on this earth to let you spend the time with. Thank you all very much.
See that map over there? Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna have that map. nothing lost feeling, 'cause that's where music has to start.
Hi. I'm Nicole Jaramillo. I don't know, maybe it was the feeling of leaving reality for a while that appealed to me most. But it wasn't like leaving everything. I mean, you dealt with your own realities out there. The difference was, that's exactly what they were, your own. You live each day for yourself, you fulfill your own expectations. It's a means of self-realization, finding your own way of coping with the idea of survival. It's when the beauty inside the individual and the beauty of the land meet. There's no better feeling. Sharing this experience with the people I did made it all the more beautiful. I laughed amongst friends, I cried amongst friends, I complained and I discussed amongst friends, all the time. Each day was an accomplishment, full of highs and lows, and each day someone was there with me through it all. I think what I loved most about the final exam trip was that I had a purpose. There was no time to just go through the motions. I was so far from the world of watching each minute tick on the school clock, of standing behind the counter at my workplace, of television and sitcoms and radio morning shows. Before the trip, I always felt one step behind. I was following someone else's path, trying to guide myself through someone else's experiences and knowledge. But during the trip, I was taken out of that scene, forced to find my own way, forced to create a pathway I carved out for myself. Living life purely and simply, living life free from the binding ties of the world that was trying to drag me down. For this experience, and to the beautiful people who shared it with me, I am truly grateful. I love you all.
evening. I'm Brian Hoffman. This is great. This exam has all the elements. That was probably the last thing I wanted to hear as I was canoeing into a storm while the waves were pounding the canoe, pushing us back where we already came from. And that was supposed to be an easy day. But when we finally reached land, the rain stopped, I changed into my last pair of dry clothing, met up with the rest of the class, and just talked. The final exam, for me anyways, was a time I'll always remember. I'll admit that at first, I was hesitant about going because I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy myself. But I'm glad I went. It turned out to be more than I've ever expected. The exam made me realize what I really have. It made me respect everything I usually take for granted. From having shelter from the cold and rain, to eating dinner on a flat surface. I'll probably never complain about my mattress being too hard ever again. Really getting to know the other people in the class was also a bonus. We all probably admit that on our exam we found everyone to be different from what we thought of them before. It was a nice mixture of people who really didn't hang around with each other normally. Getting to know everyone and working together as a team was the greatest part of the exam for me. It enabled me to realize that I can count on other people to accomplish goals in my life. It also brought me to the realization that I could be self-sufficient and take care of myself without the need or input from my parents, teachers, or my family. If I could summarize my whole experience, it could be condensed down to 3 words: self-reliance, cooperation, and friendship. Thanks, guys. I had the time of my life.
Steve and Mrs. Steph.
Hi, my name is Steph Marshall. I mean Steph Clark. My name is Steph Clark, and I'm a former Wilderness Y student. I took the course in 1988, and this is my second year as an associate team member. A lot of people often ask me why the heck would I volunteer to go on a wilderness trip with 26 high school seniors. I think these people have an image of a ton of rowdy students running around screaming and partying in the woods, and my job is to keep them in line or something. Obviously this is not the case, but I love the twisted look on these people's faces when I tell them that my answer to why I do this is the students and sharing in their experiences dealing with the course. See, this course involves so much more than merely learning about camping and the outdoors. The outdoors becomes a classroom for learning about working with others and the importance of teamwork and of the group. You learn about people, to appreciate and respect one another, but most importantly, you learn about you. When you're out in the wilderness with a group of people, you find your personal strengths and weaknesses, positive aspects about yourself, and even negative ones that you can work on. This class and its experiences tends to bring out different parts of different people. The real you comes out. People may no longer see you as they perceive you to be back at school because they are given the chance to see you for who you really are. You may also find a part of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Often this self-learning isn't realized until looking back and really reflecting on the course. This course is in part a self-challenge, and when you succeed in a challenge against yourself, it is the best, most empowering feeling. It has been so exciting for me to watch all of this from the perspective of an associate team member instead of when I was a student in the course when I didn't fully realize at the time all that I was learning and all that I was becoming. In addition to the structured part of the course of Wilderness Wise, there's an underlying course in personal growth. And though you may not realize it at first, you take this course with you. You'll use the experiences you've had and expand on them throughout the course of your life. So I came back for you guys, the students. I view it as a privilege to be able to be a part of the experiences that take place throughout this course and that will be taken with each and every one of us as we venture through life.
Okay, I kind of come from a different perspective here. If the class remembers, when they first met me, I was kind of this hermit over at I was living in a small log hut that I built by myself for the winter period. All of a sudden, I hear 26 high school students and Marshall leading the way, bearing down on my backyard. So to say the least, I was kind of overwhelmed by the experience. And I wasn't very outgoing, and I was pretty much an introvert. Well, my wilderness experiences prior to this exam have primarily been solitary, and if they have been with others, they've been with only a few people that share similar views. So going with a class of 26 high school students was a shock to my system. Actually, why did I decide to go then? Well, when I decided and told Marsh that, yes, I'll be going, I kind of asked myself that question several times. Why am I doing this? However, my reason was before the final started, I kind of was looking into the field of outdoor education and looking into some jobs. And to go on this final with you all would really kind of be a test for me to see if I would enjoy such an experience and enjoy being with all of you. So not only was it a test for me, but it was a test for you guys. I was pretty much putting my future on your shoulders. If everything went well between you and I definitely would have considered outdoor education. Well, it did. I had an incredible time interacting with you students, experiencing what you were experiencing, working with you, and just being your friend. So, to tell you the truth, you kind of made my future instead of break it. Thank you.
Like Keith, I'm also looking into pursuing a career that involves working in the outdoors. I've always loved the outdoors, hiking, canoeing, and camping, but it is this course and the students involved that really steered me in the direction of working with students in the outdoors as a future field to go into. In the near future, I hope to take on a position as an instructor for Knowles, which is National Outdoor Leadership School, in which the outdoors is the classroom. Like Keith, working with all of you and last year's class has really made me feel secure in this decision. So thank you very much.
Okay, what we'd like to share with you right now are a few of what we refer to as words of wisdom from Keith and Steph. Okay? Well, first off,
take time to sit alone by a lake and watch the sunrise or the sunset.
While you're hiking through the forest or canoeing on calm waters, notice the loons dancing on the water surface.
The beautiful reflection of a shoreline.
The painted trillium along the trail.
The sight and sound of a babbling brook.
And the scent of the pine trees in the air.
Remember, try not to focus merely on the destination, but realize that the enjoyment of a journey is really the journey itself.
Also, please keep in mind that to many, including ourselves, the wilderness is like a church and should be taken care of as such. Oh yeah, one more thing in addition to our words of wisdom. Never get stuck with a short,
fat,
leaky,
tar-patched,
sharp-edged,
heavy canoe.
Seriously though, what you've learned with this Wilderness Wise course can be and should be used not only while camping, but also every day with whatever you set out to do.
In closing, to the students, we hope you learned as much and enjoyed yourself as much as we did.
We gained a lot from this experience and were given the chance to meet a lot of great new people.
Please remember that we're always there as your friend and someone you can talk to or go camping with.
So, thank you very much for a very memorable experience.
Thank you. It's not your scrunchie, this is my scrunchie. I have one more thing to add. If all the students and Keith and Marsh and Sean could please meet me at the side of the stage at the end of the presentation. I made all of you a little gift that hopefully will bring back the happy memories we shared in Adirondacks. Thank you.
of life other than human life and the importance of it. I've always known of the problems with the pollution of our environment, but Wilderness Wise allowed me to see for myself what is happening. I was taught never to leave a trace or a scar on this land that we're sharing with thousands of other forms of life. The Adopt a Highway program was a way in which we could better our community by cleaning up the litter on the sides of Sheridan Drive. It was a good feeling knowing that next year the same thing would be done. The Wilderness Wise was also a learning process which taught me how to survive in the wilderness with the right equipment and the right technique. The first trip we took was the Allegheny trip. I have to admit, this trip was at the beginning of the year and I wasn't prepared for the weather we had. I stood by the fire in the pouring rain, soaking wet and miserable, eating a meal that tasted like tinfoil. I didn't do very well, and from that point on, I was eager to learn as much as I could to help me with the next 2 trips. I wanted to be prepared so that I could enjoy the beautiful wilderness and the people in the class. For the final exam, I knew I was prepared. The trip was challenging, but at the same time, a lot of fun. I got to know some amazing people. I also was able to listen to different perspectives on what the wilderness has to offer. People are out there. People are drawn to the wilderness for different reasons to find the same comfort. I'm not sure if I've developed the same love of being in the wilderness, but I learned to appreciate it through other people. In the end, the wilderness class of '94 came together. When you're out there, everyone's on the same level. Every classmate is just as important as the next to the group. Not everyone had what it took to get through the exam on their own. We all had to work together and help each other out. Going into the exam, I was worried I might not make it without my house, my bed, and my warm shower. But I learned about life outside the comfort of a heated home and how enjoyable it can be.
We have some trouble. When you worry, you make it down, but don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. Keep it don't worry. Be happy. Be happy. When you worry, your face will frown. That will bring everybody down. So don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Now then, this song I wrote, I hope you learned it note for note like good little children. Don't worry. Be happy. Listen to what I say. In your life, expect some trouble. When you worry, make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Be happy now. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, don't worry, don't do it. Be happy. Put a smile on your face. Don't bring everybody down. Don't worry. It will soon pass, whatever it is. Don't worry, be happy. I'm not worried.
Good evening. My name is Yasmin Kamal, and I'm Vice President of this year's Wilderness Wise class, and I'll be closing the presentation this evening. I would like to begin by calling up 5 very special people, and if you could just kind of line up here, and you people up there extend the spotlight or whatever it is you do. And I'd like to call up Nancy Graber, Elizabeth Hardy, Steph Clark, Sean O'Neill, and Keith Marshall. Mrs. Graber and Mrs. Hardy, so she could come over here, please. And they were our chaperones on the Allegheny trip. And they were really great. They were just cool. They helped us out a lot, and we really appreciated them. So their prize is a Wilderness Wise t-shirt, which you see everybody wearing tonight. There's one for you. Next we have Steph. Steph is very special because not only is this her second year chaperoning, but she chaperoned all of our trips. And she was really great, and she always had a positive attitude and a smile, and we really, really enjoyed having her. So, Steph had a favorite paddle. And this is it. And these are our signatures from the whole class, plus a t-shirt. Next, we have Sean. Come on over, Sean. What can you say about Sean? I guess he helped us out a little bit. There you go, bud. Thanks. And then Keith, or Nature Boy as we like to call him. Keith was always good for a lecture on the sins of killing black flies. And Keith too gets a t-shirt. Thanks. And there's one more chaperone, and I'm not sure where he is or if he's ever coming down, but he was with us through everything. Every class, every note, every equipment check, and that's Mr. Marshall. And if you can come down, do. If not,